Hey friends, what if I gave you one pattern of a tree and showed you 4 ways to carve it? Would that constitute as 4 ornaments? I think so. Stay tuned and let's get started carving these out. Okay, so this is probably going to be my last Christmas carving video for the year. And I want to thank everybody for their support and for following the channel and all the kind comments I got. So I'm going to give you a bonus one today. We're going to do this one pattern, but I'm going to tell you or show you 4 different ways to carve it. And that will give you 4 different ornaments. All right. So I'm probably not going to carve every one of them, but I'm going to show you how I carved them and explain to you how you can go about carving them. And then I will put pictures up in the community post, and then that way you can look at them and you can figure out the rest of them. Okay, how to carve them out, because I don't think this will be a long video if I do all 4 of them. But once you learn the techniques of how I carved it, they're pretty simple. And I think we'll probably carve one of the hardest ones today, which would be this one. And it really turned out cool. So if you wanted to, you could carve these one side and then carve that on the other side. If you wanted to do it that way, you could carve both sides the same if you wanted a 2-sided ornament, or you can carve 4 separate ornaments and have them all separate. Now, if you want to carve one that stands, I'm going to say carve a thicker piece of wood. Okay, so what we used on these, there again, all these ornaments I've made have just been out of scrap stuff I've had laying in my box. Okay, so let me give you some measurements. And this is pretty much the block size that I started with, and it was the widest point is 2.5. The tallest point is 4.25. Okay. Now I will put the pattern up. Anytime I have patterns, I put them up on the Basswood carving channel. There's usually a link in the description to it. You can download it. It's a PDF file, and you can print it out, and you can keep it, and you can use it. You can resize it if you want to do these big. Resize it up, make it bigger. If you want to do it smaller, you can scale it down and do it smaller. But the pattern is this size right here that I'm showing you. Okay, 2.25 by 4.25. 4.25 plus. And I carve these out of thin pieces. Okay, so as an ornament, this piece here is only 1/4 inch thick. All right, and some of them, this one might be a little thicker. So yeah, it's almost a 1/2 inch. Actually, it was a 1/2 inch thick when I started with it. And this one here is probably, yeah, it's a little under 1 inch. Okay, so just like I said, it's just scrap that I had. And I cut a bigger one to show you that if you want a good one to stand up. Now these will stand up, but they'll probably fall over a lot, especially people walking by them because they're so thin at the bottom. But if you want, you can put a little tab on the back of them and make a hanger out of them, or you can drill a little hole through it like I did here on this one and make a little hanger for it. Or if you leave the top wide enough, you can probably put a little eyelet thing in there, but I would probably drill a pilot hole before I screw it in. All right, so let me peel this off, and we're going to get started carving this. And I'm going to lay out the first one will be the biggest one. or the hardest one, I'm sorry, will be the hardest one to carve probably. And if we get through it pretty quick, I might start into one of these other ones for you. But they're really pretty much self-explanatory. They're just undercuts, almost like the spiral tree that we did. You're just going to do undercuts, and you can take them down. You can make them thin like that, taking them down on the sides. You can leave them square like that almost, and just carve down to the edge. So it's pretty much your call what you want to do with it. So the first one here, and I'll just kind of tell you how I laid some of these out. Okay, the first one here, let's do, was this one. It was probably the easiest one to lay out. Okay, so basically we're just going to join all the points. So we're just going to go here to here. And if you want them to swoop down a little bit, swoop them down and come back up like so. Down, come back up. All right, then you're just going to make a stop cut and kind of swoop in and down to the bottom of the tree right here. Pretty easy. From the top edge down in, stop cut down, and just swoop down into your stop cut till you get that desired thickness you want at the top. On this one, I just used this little micro gouge here and just put the little textures in there. Pretty simple. Almost any beginner can do this one. So that's how that one's laid out. It's just drawn. Like I said, you can just draw it. You know, draw it if you want. Like I said, if you want a little swoop, add a little swoop to it. Like so. Do a stop cut. And then put it in. All right. Carve down to it. Okay, let's see. On this one here, take and draw yourself a center line down to the middle. Kind of follows on down like so. And then you're going to create kind of a triangle effect where you're going to come up to the point. You're going to leave that center being the highest point, and you're just going to carve, thin it down all the way to the edge and bring it up. And on that one, I just made my cuts up to my center point. So go from your point right there to point right here, and then same way here. Just come up, and you don't even really have to go all the way. You're just going to stop kind of right there, right here, right here, and make each one higher than the other. So this side over here is higher than this one. This one's higher than this one. And this one, they meet in the middle. Okay? Pretty easy. And then you just make your stop cut and then cut. Make your cuts up to here. Try to leave that center point as your highest point. And I didn't clean these up or anything. I actually just finished them up. And basically, you're just going to make little swoop cuts up to your stop cut. Like so. Okay? And then on this one, I carved up in under the branches a little bit, just to give it a little more width on the side compared to this one. You can see I went a little deeper on this side. Just carve up in there. Just make it a little deeper so that top branch kind of hangs out a little bit. Clean off all your edges, make your cuts down to here, and cut at an angle so you get that kind of triangle shape up to the middle. Okay, that one's pretty easy too. And then here, just clean off, you know, carve it down, clean it up so you get all your factory surface off of there. Cut up under here a little bit, makes your stem a little, your trunk a little deeper and goes up into the tree. Okay, That's that one. That's that one. And this one, we just drew, flip it over here. On this one, we just drew this one out like so. Make a meet in the middle. And then if you want to add a little shape to them, bring them down, bring it down, bring it up, bring it down, bring it up, bring it down. And then that, you can just take your V tool and cut that in. Same way here. Just cut them in and leave this little edge hanging out to the top. Okay. And at the bottom of the trunk, we just cut it square. We use our V tool, cut in some grooves right there. Okay. So there's 3 of them right there. Real fun, real easy to do. All right. This one, a little more challenging. All right. So let's draw that one in there. Let me erase this off a little bit. So we don't get confused with the lines. Clean this deal off some. And you can clean off the backs if you want to. If you're just going to leave them one side, just go ahead and smooth off the backs like I did on this one. So you got a nice smooth back on the back of it. Okay. But let's get this all cleaned off of here so we can start fresh. But hope everybody's enjoyed the videos. Like I said, this will be my last video for the year, except for the one video I'll be doing that will be talking about something that I got going on and coming up next year at the beginning of the year. So I'm going to do a separate video on that. Don't know if I'm going to do it live or if I'm going to record it. But that'll be coming probably at the end of this week. So stay tuned for that, and I'll tell you what's going on with the channel next week and what we got going on. I think some of you will enjoy it. Hopefully most of you will enjoy it. Okay. All right. So got this one, and you can, whatever way you want the tree to point, you can do whatever side you want. Doesn't matter. All the techniques are the same. So this one I did this way, so I'm going to show you this way. All right, so on this one, first line is going to come up to here. I'm just going to draw that in. That's going to be our first. I'm going to call them flaps because that's pretty much what you're carving. Then take this one and go about to the center of that and come over to this point. Okay. Then, so that gives us this one and this one. Yep. Okay. Now the next one is going to be here, and it's going to come up to this one. Okay, and they're almost going to meet right there. All right, so the next one, this one, is going to go from here and come into this one. So it's going to be like that. Okay, and the next one, same way. It's going to swoop up into this one. Okay, and then the Next one down is going to meet into this one. Okay. And then, let's see, we're on the bottom two. So this bottom one is going to come up into here, like so. And then the last one is going to run into this one, like so. And you can actually do this one a little closer to the stem. You can vary these a little bit however you want. The cutting technique's going to be the same no matter how you do it. Okay? So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start at the top one. Now, I will tell you, be careful up here, because when you're cutting it, it's going to be real easy to break. So, all right, so we're going to make a stop cut all the way down right here. Make it kind of deep. All right, and then you're going to cut up to it, taking it in. Take that little chip out of there. And if you want to just lay them in first and then go back and deepen them up. Pretty sure that's what I did. Okay, so there's my first little flap. All right. Now the next one is going to go here. So we're going to come down to here. And over to this point. Now we're going to take that out of there. And pencil lines are making it a little hard to see, but you'll see once I get it cut out of there. It's pretty easy, really. Now the next one is going to be this one. Over to here. Like I said, this is probably the hardest one, but it's not that hard. Once you see the technique, you'll be able to do it. And once you got your stop cuts in, then you can just vary your depths. And I'll show you. We'll go back over it in a minute. We'll just get them all cut in first. Okay? So the next one is going to be this one, which is this third one right here. Same thing. Cut from here to there. Take that little sliver out of there. And down to the next one. Take that little sliver out of there. Okay. Next, we're going down to this one. So we're going to cut from here to here. Take that little sliver out. Okay. And 2 more. We got this one. I'm going to go all the way down. Take that little sliver out of there. Okay, and the last one is going to go from here to the bottom. Take that little sliver out. Okay, now we got all of our little sections laid in there. All right, so the goal is to make each one look like it's overlapping the next one, or the next two even. So you don't want to cut the top completely off. Leave your top edge, and when you cut down to it. So cut from just outside this edge a little bit. Make that a little deeper. Okay, just cut from here all the way up to there. And just take it in at an angle. Like so. Okay. Now the top piece, all I did was just take these edges off. And right here, be careful because you don't want to chunk that whole piece off. So if you have to, come in this way and then come back this way. My goal is to make this as close to that edge right here as possible with a swooping motion. Just going to give a little motion to the tree. Okay? Then you can come back here and just keep taking it down till you get to that edge. Leave this, but take it down as much as you want. Just being careful with that edge right there. Okay, go back here to this one and do the same thing. Come in. And you can go all the way down right here because you can put a little triangle cut in there if you need to. Just be careful you don't go all the way through to break it off, because we're working with these little thin pieces. So okay, now the next one, it's going to cut up towards this top of this branch. So we're going to come in here, and we almost got it there. Almost cut the whole thing off. And a little deeper stop cut. If you put a little deeper stop cut, that, and you go easy. And take it a little bit at a time. Okay. Now we can come back in here. Always come back in here and cut that little corner out right in there. Join them two together so it makes it look like it's tucked up under both of them. All right. Okay, next we're going to go from down to this one. We can take a little more off of right here because we got to go from this corner edge and swoop in. When I say swoop, I'm doing this with my knife. I'm rolling it out in and roll it up till it tucks under there. Take that off just a little bit right there. Okay. And like I said, you can always go back and clean this guy up. Don't worry about it. People get worried about all these little fuzzies and stuff. There's not a carver out there that don't have to go back and clean up his carving. And if he tells you he don't, he's a hell of a lot better carver than I am. And most of the time, he's probably lying anyway. I'm sure there's a few out there, but even the guys I watch all the time at the carving club have to go back and clean stuff up. So don't freak out about the fuzzies and stuff. There's always time to clean them up. All right. So next we're going to go to this one. So we already got our cut in there. Take it here. And again, we're working towards getting this little swoop in here. We want that swoop. If you want to go all the way to the edge, go all the way to the edge. But I'm going to show you a little trick at the end. Once we get it all swooped in there, that'll take that little edge and make it look like it's blended in. All right, so back up to here. Swoop it back up. Make a little cut. And just keep coming in and making stop cuts where if it ain't coming off all the way. Come in here. All right. Here's another little triangle spot. Come in right here. Cut that little triangle out of there. Cut it up towards here. So it's tucking up under the other two above it. Okay. And we can take some more off if you have to. Turn it this way and cut. Come this way with it. Make sure you got your thumb guard on or go easy. Come towards it. All right, next, this one. So this is, see, they're getting bigger. So you got to go a little more. All right, this time, start up here. Take it in towards that one first. Take this edge off. Okay, take a little more out here, tuck it under that branch. And just go back and kind of remove that factory. I call it factory edge. That's where it's milled or where it's planed down or cut or whatever. I always call it factory edge because it's what it is basically. It's the way it came from the factory. All right, now I can go back here and take this one down a little bit, clean it up a little more. If you do it in stages and just keep going back and making it a little bit at a time, before you know it, you'll have a really nice looking piece. I think I spent about half hour to 45 minutes on each one of those last night and today before I start the video. So you can actually bust these out pretty quick once you get going on them. Okay. All right. So we got those two. We're going back to here. Now this time we can come up to this one. Lost track of where I was for a minute there. All right. Come up to this one. Watch your finger. Make sure your stop cut's deep enough. That's what happens if I don't have my stop cut deep enough. Nope, I didn't get it. I thought I did for a minute there. Tuck it up under there. And tuck it up under there. And there's another triangle point. All right, here we are. We're on this last one, and then we got to take this trunk down a little bit. Then we'll just go back and take a good look at it and clean it up where we need to. All right, let's take this one up. Swoop it up, take it off. Bring this one towards this one. If you got too deep in that one a little bit, go ahead and deepen it. Because we're going to thin that trunk down a little bit anyway. And there's another triangle spot right there. Just cut that little chip out of there and make it, give it some depth. Okay. Now we're going to work on this part. Actually, we need to take this one down a little bit. Okay. Let's see, take this down just a little bit. Take this one in just a little bit more. But you get the idea. Make them look layered. All right, now, last thing. Let's get the trunk down. And you can round it if you want. Or you can just layer it up in the tree there. There's another little triangle point. Stab your knife in there. Stab it in there. Take that little chip out. Okay. Let's take these hard edges off. Again, if you want it to sit back in there, cut it in a little bit at an angle right there. Take your factory shavings off. And that's pretty much it. Right there. Okay, a couple things you can do to it. If you want, go back here and just take some more of this down. If you want it to be thin right there, just keep rolling it down. Don't take your tip off. Leave your tip of your corner there. Just take that down till you almost to the edge. Tilt your knife in towards the bottom. I like mine flared out a little bit right there at the top. About flares out. But if you want to roll the whole thing down, go ahead and do that. All right, let's see. Same thing over here. Come on this side. Take a look at it. Roll it up some more if you want. Just such a simple carving, really. And it's fun. Up here at the top, too, you can roll this piece in. Now I kind of brought that to a little tapered edge up there. Then you can come back here and just clean that off just a little bit. Right here, I can put that in there a little bit. Like so. Okay. Just go down your corner there and see if it's what you like. If you want to put more, put more. If you want to leave it, leave it. All right, go back and shave off your pencil marks. Just give it a good look over and see if you want to make it a little deeper. Make it a little deeper. Okay. That wasn't too hard, was it? All right. The other thing you can do is come back here on the back side and just take that edge off a little bit. And that way, it'll kind of give it a rounded look. Not perfectly rounded, but won't look. It just kind of cleans up that edge a little bit. So when you look at it from the front, it's kind of hiding that back edge right there. Even though it's on the back, it's still kind of, like I said, when you look at it from the front, it kind of looks like it's rolling back in there. And it just gives it a cleaner look, I think. All right. That's pretty much it, guys, with that one. Go back if you got to clean some more off. Clean some more off. Now down here at the bottom, you can kind of take it down this way, thinner, if you want. Just kind of clean that off, give a little more three-dimensional look. And if you have to, just go back and clean these up a little bit. Clean all your little fuzzies out of there. One thing is, if you have one of these little micro tools, they're good to go in there and get your fuzzies out. Just go in there and clean that out a little bit. And come back in with your knife. right. There we go. Not quite identical, but almost. But who wants two of them that look the same, right? Okay, let's give it the look that you like. Get all your pencil marks off. Just when you're working with these little thin pieces, be careful because they will split off on you. And they will break easy. You can always go back in and take a little bit more off at a time if you want. Okay. All right, that's that one. That's pretty much it. On this one, I pretty much did the same technique. I just fold them up under the top branch. And like I said, I'll put up pictures of these. Excuse me. I'll put up pictures up of these in the community post. And that way you'll have them to look at for reference, and you can always go back and look at the video. I'll hold them all up again one more time. There's that one. This one really, it's a little harder, but not much. You just want to make sure you maintain this high point right here. And it's probably hard to see on camera, but it's kind of a high point right here. So the tree looks like this is the edge out, sticking out. And then again, I can go back in here and make these even more defined just by taking that down. And I had a little fuzzy piece right there where it was kind of fuzzing up on me because I couldn't go any other direction with the grain. And it was kind of coming out of there. But work it at an angle. As you can see, just working that edge off of there. And right up here, be careful. And you kind of make them meet, but make one higher than the other. Like this one could be a little higher. Right here. Okay, this one, just cut. I don't want to cut on it because I already got my texture in there. One other thing you could do with this one, okay, one other thing you could do with these is if you've got kind of a, I don't know what size this is. I always have a hard time with the sizing, what they call them. But this is like a, it's about 1/4 inch wide. And it's just got a little bit of a swoop to it. But you can come in here and put a little more textures on it just by doing this. Okay. And it just gives it a little more motion. Gives little dimples. just like that. And we got 4 ornaments. And you can give one to mom and one to the wife, and they don't look the same. Or you can give one to mom and one to mother-in-law. They won't look the same. Put one little one up here. There you go. Okay, down here I just used a knife and just did a couple little swooping V-cuts. Cleaned it out. See, on these I think I used the V-tool. This one I hadn't done anything with. So you can take a big V-tool or take a big V-tool. And give it a little trunk. So yeah, fun little project. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now you can carve up some trees for your tree. I'm not going to do a paint video or anything. Pretty simple. You know, you seen my spiral tree video. Same way, paint this, and you can do the little Christmas lights on it. Everybody, I didn't know if I liked the Christmas lights on there, but everybody that I'm showing it to is just like, oh, I love the little lights on there. So, you know, this one, when you do your texture, important to go in about halfway, make them like curve them up in there, and then over here curve them up this way, and then right here just kind of leave a little spot and just make them join right there, so you get some motion in your tree. Up here at the top I went this way just to have that top piece a little different, and I went off the edges with it too. So pretty easy, pretty simple. You guys should be able to bust some out. We got 5 more days till Christmas. So actually, if you celebrate on Christmas Eve with your family and you want to give something away, you should be able to carve up about 20 of these in the next few days. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll have one more video, like I said, announcing what's coming up for next year. Stay tuned for that. And once again, I appreciate all my subscribers, and even the ones that haven't subscribed that watch my videos. It says I got 70% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed, but I always have the same amount. So they're still watching the videos, they're just not subscribing. But I appreciate all of you. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and ring that notification bell so you get notified when our next video comes up. All right. Have fun, guys, carving. And if I can inspire you to pick up a knife and a block of wood and carve something today, we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.